Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be trying out the brand new, it's the Natasha Denona YUCCA palette, although it could be pronounced yucca palette as well. It is based on the yucca tree or plant. We have those here in New Zealand as well, and I actually hate it. We have one at our last property and I got rid of it. I think they are awful things, and we pronounce them here, they are a yucca plant, but it can also be pronounced yucca as well. So this is the outside packaging of the palette. This is made in Italy and it has a shelf life of 24 months from date of opening, and I picked this up at Sephora, New Zealand. I just went online yesterday just to have a general look, see what new items they may have, and I saw that that was there, so I ordered it and it arrived this morning, so really good delivery. So this is the palette itself, and it has a soft matte feel, and at the back it has the usual little pinholes so you can pop them out if you want to and swap the shadows around or put others in. I can't do that with my palette. Some people love being creative and doing that, but for some reason I just can't bear that it's out of order in the way that it came, but I know that a lot of people do like to do that. And it has a lovely sunrise vibe on it. It's quite plain packaging, but it's also really pretty and ethereal as well. So on the Natasha Denona website, they say that this palette is inspired by the serenity of the morning sunrise brushing along the tropical leaves of the Caribbean plant. The yucca or yucca eyeshadow palette captures Natasha's uplifting journey to the Maldives, experiencing gleaming skies above, fervent sand below, and peace within, led to 15 new fiery shades of eyeshadows gathered in this exquisite brand new palette. And the palette is ranging from dark jungle greens to shimmery sunny goldens, warm yellows and mustard browns. The 15 shaded yucca eyeshadow palette delivers the ambience of summer to any look with the iconic classic mattes, cream powders, metallics and sparkling foiled formulas. And I think this palette is priced somewhere around 64 US dollars. When I look at the Natasha Denona website, it automatically comes up in New Zealand dollars, and in New Zealand dollars it is $125. So it is one more of the pricier palettes, but this is the mid-size range, so you get 15 really beautiful shadows, and I think they are really great value for money. So in this video I am doing 3 looks. This is the third look I did. With the first look, I'm doing 1 look on each eye, and I've also got on different blush and lipstick with those first 2 eye looks as well. And once I've done the third and final look, I'll also do swatches of this palette, and I'll also do a couple of comparisons to a couple of other Natasha Denona palettes that I have as well.
River flows one direction, and fishes they follow the flow. But what if one tried to mention that there was much more to explore? Here I am, I have a plan, I'm living free, don't know where I'll land. Here I am, I have a plan, I'm living free, don't know where I'll land. A dragonfly heard the message. Darkness was home for the star. It spread its wings to the surface. The bright colors set them apart. Here I am, I have a plan, I'm living free, don't know where I'll land. Here I am, I have a plan, I'm living free, don't know where See your house from the highway, way up high. Things are so different now, I suppose. I should get used to letting go of all I knew about your soul. So I push on through, going through the motions, nowhere close to your devotion. Feel so far but couldn't be standing closer. 'Cause I could write an entire.
So here are the first two looks. So look number one and look number two. So this is a really beautiful palette to work with. I did a little bit more work on this eye than this eye here, and I like both looks equally. I think both look really beautiful. So you would have seen me use different types of brushes. So when it came to the metallic shades and the duochrome, I tended to use more fluffier brushes. You could definitely get more impact if you wet the brush or if you use your finger. But when it comes to metallic shades, for me, this is very bold, but you can definitely go bolder if you want to. I love the green in here, and I just adore this shade here. This is the Camu Camu shade, and I think it's gorgeous. It looks very bright in the pan, but it gives this gorgeous color to the eyes. And there's quite a few different shades you can layer over the top. Certainly a palette that you're going to get lots of different looks. It's not just greens and browns. And over the side, I concentrated more on the brown and these two shades here, and then went into the duochrome. They all performed really beautifully. There was one shade, and I can't remember which one it was. It may have been Calathea, which is this one up here. This is a really gorgeous green. I think that was the one that had a little bit of fallout, but there's a lot of people that do their eye makeup before they put on foundation. I just tend to do it the other way around, and it came off really easy. There might be a couple of bits there too, but there wasn't a lot, and it wipes away really easy. I think this is a really gorgeous palette, and I'm looking forward to doing the third and final look, and hopefully I'll be able to get something that is different than the two looks that I've done, but I think it is really, really beautiful. So now I'm going to wash off all this makeup because I'm going to use a different blush and a lighter shade lipstick for the third look.
Time has gone by, and I wonder if you think of me. 'Cause I could write an entire record about you, baby. Yes, I could. Oh no. Yes, I could.
Here is the third and final look. I thought this was going to be my favorite one when I'd planned out what I was going to do for the three looks. But the first two that I did are a lot nicer than I thought they were going to be. So I really don't have a favorite look. I did get a little bit of kick up again with one of the shadows, and that was the one Flax, and also a little bit of Fallout. That's this one here. I probably went in a bit heavy when I put the brush in the pan, and this a little bit came just down here, but it wiped away really, really easy. This is such a gorgeous palette. I said it before after my first two looks, and I'll say it again, it's really beautiful. I love the colour story. I think it's gorgeous. I think those of you that love a warm colour story and those also with deeper skin tone are just going to love this. I think it's going to show up really, really beautifully. And people that have a lot more real estate on their eyelids than I do, they're going to get some really beautiful looks with it. So now I'm going to swatch this palette on my arm so you can take a look at the swatches. And I've pulled out 3 other Natasha Denona palettes where I think maybe a couple of the shades may be similar. I'm not too sure. I don't have the big gold palette, but I do have the mini one. So I've got that. I've also got the Trio Chrome palette, and I've also got Metropolis as well. I thought that the greens in this were going to be the same as or very similar to Trio Chrome, but now that I've put them on, and I think when I swatch them they are going to be a little bit different. So this is the palette swatch, and I've just turned down the light in front of me, and I swatched these, apart from a couple where I mucked it up, but I've swatched them from left to right and top to bottom, but I'll tell you the one that needs swapping around. So first of all, we'll start with the top row on the left, and this is Plantasia. It's a sparkling foiled green, rosewood duochrome. Next we have Calathea. It's a matte medium dark olive green. Then we have Komaribi, and that's a sparkling foiled mustard gold. Next is Acacia, and that's a matte golden olive. And last on the first row is Camu Camu, and it's a matte vibrant lime. Starting on the second line, we have Tipu. It's a matte dusty mustard green. Then we have Elysian. It's a sparkling foiled medium taupe. Then we have Valley, a matte dusty mustard brown. And then these are the 2 that are mucked up. So next it's supposed to be this one, and that's Citrine, and that's a matte medium mustard citrine. And then we have Ray. That's a metallic green gold. And then on the last row we have Flax. It's a matte dark brown. Next is Fushi, and that's a matte light medium mustard yellow. Next we have Markia, and that's a sparkling foiled medium golden olive. Next we have Ixia, and that's a matte burnt caramel. And finally we have Willow, and that's a matte medium dark teal green. So this is the Natasha Denona. This is the mini gold palette, and first we'll just take a look at this shade here. I can't read what's on the back, it's a little bit worn off, but this is the green shade from the mini gold, and just in the pan it probably looks, we'll just pull it across there, so it's not similar to these at all, and it isn't anything like that shade here, so it is different to these ones here, and also this has got more yellow in it anyway. But that one is more, it's definitely got more green in it. These have a bit more of a yellow. And then we'll take a look at the last shade in here. It's a metallic in here. And it won't be like this one here. And the only other one, and it won't be like this one either, I don't think. But I'll just swatch it next to it so you can see. So that's the metallic out of the mini gold, and the one from the YUCCA palette, so they are completely different as well. And we'll take a quick look at the gold shade. I'm just going to swatch it here, but that is a real yellow gold compared to any of these here. So that's the mini gold palette, so it is different from that. Next I'm just going to look at a couple of shades, and this is from the Trio Chrome palette. This is really gorgeous, and I love these 2 shades here. Probably, let's have a look at the palette. So it's these ones here that I've used the most. So we'll have a look at the shade Scarab. That's the top one. So we'll take a look at Scarab. I'm running out of room, but I'm just going to swatch it here. So this is Scarab. So this is, it's a duochrome, so it's got the green gold in it. So it's possibly a mixture from the mini gold and possibly this shade here. But there's no shade the same as the one from Trio Chrome. And this also does have quite a bright shade in it called Ion. So I'm just going to put that there. So that is fairly similar, if not exactly the same. Might have a little bit more green in it than this one here. I think it has just a touch more green than this shade here. And then just one other from this palette, and that is the shade Vert, but I think this has a lot more green in it. It's possibly closer to this shade here, but it's deeper than these two here. I'm just going to hold up my arm a bit more so you can see. So it's not the same as these two, but it's possibly very near to this shade here. And I keep saying the shade, but this was the shade Citrine out of the Yucca palette. And this one is out of the Trio Chrome palette. So those are both similar too. And just one more shade of the Trio Chrome palette. And this is the shade Scrap. And I'm going to put it there. This is a matte. And I thought it might be similar to this, but it's not. This is definitely more of a murky type green. This one is the brown. And it is deeper in tone than this shade here. And then finally we've got the Metropolis palette too, and I'm just having a good look at that. It does seem as if the golds are in here. This has got more of a copper in it, and there's more of the yellow gold here. I don't think the greens will be the same. I'll swatch 2 or 3 so you can have a look. So first of all, I'll swatch the green shade there. That's the one Royal. So I'll swatch this, but this is going to be a lot deeper. So I'm going to put Royal here. Yeah, so that is completely different. It's a real emerald, isn't it, compared to this or these ones here. Then I'm going to go for the shade Lethal. That looks like it could be a little bit more closer to the others. So I am running out of room here. This is the shade Lethal. Just go over that again. This is from Metropolis. So that is Lethal. So again, it's not really similar to any of the shades that are in the Yucca palette. And then there is the shade, this is Shield. So this is the shade Shield. And that is different to any of the shades through here. I will just go over that again just so you can take a close look. So I'll just pop it here. So this was Shield here, and it is got a green brown in it, but it is not similar to anything that's in the Yucca palette. And then we'll have a look at the matte shade Metropolis. This is the one Rope. And this is the shade, this was Valley, and I don't think that's going, so this is Rope. So again, it's got a bit more orange in it than Valley, and it is lighter in tone than this matte shade here. So again, there's similarities, but they aren't the same. And finally, we're going to look from the Metropolis palette. This is the shade, this is Rhizome, and now that I've swatched it on my finger, the closest it would be is possibly that shade there. But that has more yellow in it, whereas the one from Metropolis, that is more orange. So the Natasha Denona palette, it swatches beautifully and it also goes beautifully on the eyes as well. When I first saw this palette, I hadn't bought one like this for quite a while. This is more bold for me. But even though I do enjoy cool colours as well, I also love the warm colours. I like both. It just depends on what sort of mood. This is a summer palette. Well, that's how it's described. But this also could be an autumn palette too, especially with the earthy colours in there. So I think it would fit both seasons. But I wear whatever colour any time of the year. It really just depends what I feel like wearing that day. But this is a really gorgeous palette, and I think that this is going to be a really popular palette. It's not a colour story for everybody, but this year we've seen a lot of pinks, we've seen a lot of reds. People do get sick of them, and it's nice to see a different colour story for a change. The formula of these is absolutely beautiful, and there are just a multitude of different looks you could do. I think it is really, really gorgeous. And after doing the comparison swatches, I think it is the most similar to the Mini Gold, and from what I've seen online, the Gold palette, and also the Metropolis palette as well. But it is not exactly the same, it just has similarities. What I think it is like if Metropolis and the Gold palette got together and they had a baby, then their baby was the YUCCA palette, or the YUCCA palette, however you want to pronounce it. And what a beautiful baby it is. If you love these type of shades, you love the Natasha Denona formula, or you even haven't tried Natasha Denona before, I highly recommend this palette. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.